Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tasha. I just wanted to chat with you guys for a little bit today and share a little bit about me and my keto story. Everybody's got a keto story. When I first started keto, which was in 2018, January to be exact, 2018, I had friends at that time who were already on the keto journey for a little bit of time and were having a lot of success. Um, I was looking into it for a couple of months prior to me actually starting, and some people will do that because you see other people on it, you see the success that they're having, and of course you might be a little bit envious and you might be wondering, is this something that I could really do? Is it that easy? Because people make it look easy. It looks really hard because, it just looks like you have to give up so much in order to sustain this type of lifestyle. And so I had to do a lot of research. I started following different people on YouTube that were already doing their keto journey, and just seeing what kind of recipes were out there. That was really important to me, to see, could I actually make this into a lifestyle of myself? What do keto foods look like? And that's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to start my channel, because I wanted to share what I eat, what I cook for myself and for my family. A lot of the times the things that I cook are for my entire family are keto, but I just add in, like, the starches or whatever that they might want, like the rice, the pasta or whatever, and I just don't have that for myself. So it's definitely changed a lot of things in my own household. Sometimes my family's on board with it, sometimes they're not. I have tried to get them to go keto, and it's just no dice. It really does take a strong commitment on your own. You have to have a strong determination, that you're going to stick through it, stick with it. And that really happens with any kind of diet that you're on. I don't think personally that keto is the diet for everybody. I think everybody probably could do it, maybe a slim percentage of the population because of sicknesses or different ailments, whatever. But I think everybody could do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody will be successful at it, because what works for me may not work for you. So I just wanted to share, on my channel, what it looks like for me and why I'm having success, and show that it is something that's sustainable. Yes, this does mean that I will probably have to be on it for the rest of my life, and I'm okay with that because I love the food that I eat on here. Does that mean that I will never have a bite of pasta again? Probably not. Or have a little bite of cake or something like that? Probably not. I'm sure I will at some point or at some event or something. Most of the time I do really good about just staying away, but we all have those weak moments, and there's, just like any diet that's out there, there's always some kind of a restriction or a limitation that you're trying to keep yourself from. So when I decided to start my keto journey, I was really just fed up with myself. I had just moved, we had just moved into our new home. Our home now has 2 stories, so there are stairs, and they were like a nightmare for me, really, because of my knees. I have not good knees. I injured them twice doing Zumba. I love Zumba. I love to dance, and it was just crushing to me that I had to give it up because the doctor said, "This is not good for you. It's not good for my knees. I need to limit my exercise basically to walking." That was the first diagnosis that I had received. I had injured myself so much that I was in the hospital 2 different times for my knees because I couldn't walk on them. My knees were like in a straight position. I couldn't bend them, so I could barely walk. I was in extreme pain and they were swollen. So one of the times that I was in the hospital for that, I ended up getting put on these braces that were that they just keep you, the mobility braces, so they keep you from being able to bend or anything like that. They just keep your knees in place. So that was just, it was really devastating, and that happened prior to my starting, prior to me starting the keto journey. But I just didn't get to that point yet. I was getting down and feeling sorry for myself and making things worse, really, because I was just continuing to spiral out of control with my eating and just have no discipline in my life or anything. And I'm the type of person that I need control. And eating and my body is one thing that I can control, but when you don't have control over it, when you have no control over if you're going to be able to walk, if your knees are going to go out of place daily, my knees were literally going out of place daily to the point where I couldn't bend them out. So it was really affecting my walking. Going up and down the stairs was really, really hard for my knees. So it affected my way of life, my way of living. You really just don't even know, how important your body parts are until you can't use them. They're so important. All of them are so important, and until you just can't use them. And honestly, I just felt like giving up. Like there was just no hope. I would always be like this. I would always have to struggle with this, and I felt depressed, honestly. And I'm not normally the type of person that struggles with depression. I typically have a good outlook on things, and so it was just depressing to have to struggle with this. I was crying a lot. It was an emotional struggle for me. So I was like, enough is enough. I made it through the holiday season. I decided I was going to try it in the upcoming year. So January, I was really, really going heavy and looking at like all the recipes and stuff. I was pinning everything on my Pinterest boards, and I decided, just do it. Just go ahead and do it. So I went out, I got some groceries, and I just started. And I saw great results. In my first 2 weeks, I had lost 9 pounds, and that was enough to keep me going. Like I knew from all my research that I could potentially get the keto flu within my first week or two. I did get the keto flu for one day around day 4, but I knew what to do. I knew I needed to up my electrolytes. I knew how it was going to change in my body from all the research, from following like Keto.Connect, Dr. Barry, different ones on YouTube. So I knew all of these things, and I think that's really important when you start any kind of health journey, that you see what other people's journeys have looked like, because you can prepare yourself for the withdrawals, or in this case the keto flu that we tend to get because of our electrolytes dropping. So I had success in my first 2 weeks, and I decided I have to keep going. So in my first year, I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I could do this for 1. I could sustain it for 2. I learned that keto, unfortunately, does take a lot of guesswork sometimes. Every keto plan is not made the same for everybody, because we all burn at different rates. We all have different metabolisms. We can all handle different amount of carbs. Our insulin resistance, things like that affect how many carbs you can have a day, things like that, if you're active. So it has been a lot of trial and error for me. There are things that I'm still learning in my second year. I'm still learning, if I have too much of this, this is going to stall me out. Or if I, do this or that, what things stall me out, what I need to, to do to stay on track. So in my first year of keto, I lost 50 pounds. Second year, I'm in my second year right now. This is 2019. I struggled a lot. In the first half of the year, I was like, well, at the end of that first year through the holiday season, you know, I typically do a lot of baking and I hand out baked goods for gifts and stuff like that for Christmas time. So that was really tough for me. And I'm going to have to rethink my whole strategy for this year because I really don't want to repeat of last year. I gained weight. I went off track. You know, a lot of people in the community, a lot of people in the keto community make the decision whether they're going to stay on track with keto through Thanksgiving and Christmas, or they're gonna go off for the day or whatever. So I was like, yeah, let me, you know, I've been working really hard. Let me figure out what I want to do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go off for Christmas. And I was like, well, I'm going to go off for 3 days, because then I was like rationalizing in my head, I want to go off, but I also want the leftovers, you know, all those Christmas goods. Christmas is my favorite holiday. It really is. So it's really hard for me. It was really hard for me to stay on track. Well, my 1 day to 3 days turned into 2 weeks and like 12 pounds. It was really crazy. So that once I did that, it was so self-sabotaging, because it created this like roller coaster for me for the full first half of this year, 2019. I was on keto, I would say 85% of the time. And then I would be like, you know, I would make little exceptions and be like, oh, you know, this event is happening, or, oh, this family member's in town, or, you know, we're going to go off and we're going to live our best life and enjoy things. And I really do want to do that. I want to enjoy things. But at the same time, I still have another 50 pounds to lose. And if I don't stay disciplined and just keep myself from doing those things, I'm just going to continue to be all over the place. And that's really what it comes down to. Can you keep yourself disciplined? I can. I totally can. I went back fully committed in July, and then I got all the weight back off from all the up and down of gaining and losing, and so I'm back down to the 50-pound mark, and I'm just really pushing hard to continue in my journey. I'm pushing hard to stay consistent through this holiday season, because it's really tough when everybody's got the best baked goods out and all the goodies are out in the store and everything looks so great. But I wanted to tell you, you know, with my keto journey, I was able to start exercising again. So I decided earlier this year to go and try to start running, and I knew I wasn't supposed to from my first diagnosis on my knees. At that time, I was pregnant and I wasn't able to get an x-ray done or see what was going on in there. He just said, you know, don't do this, that, or the other. So in the early part of this year, when I decided to go running, it flared up some swelling in my knees, and I said, well, enough is enough. I need to go and see a doctor about this and really find out what's going on with my knees. So he did some x-rays, he did an MRI. He saw that I had like a little loose body, is what he called it. I know, it's like I'm hiding a body in my knee. But it was like a little loose body in my knee, behind my kneecap, that sometimes would go in and out. But the main thing that is affecting my knees is I have like severe arthritis. I'm 36 years old. I really shouldn't have the amount of arthritis I have in my knees. And it is mainly due to myself, you know, being overweight my entire life. As a child, I was overweight. As a teenager, as a young adult, I was overweight. And so it really affected my knees. It affected the inflammation and the swelling. And that is like one of the main things that keto is known for, is reducing swelling. And I can honestly say it has reduced so much swelling in my knees. I can take the stairs with no problems. I'm doing so many more exercises now. Walking, I'm active, I'm at the parks, I'm chasing after my kids more. I feel so much better on my knees. Now, it doesn't mean that they still don't swell up if I push it too hard. This past weekend, I pushed it too hard and they were swollen for a good 3 days. So I know how to take care of them, what to do to ice them, you know, Motrin, things like that to reduce swelling and inflammation. But my overall diet is really what was important. And God only knows what other kind of issues I may have been having in my body, with how swollen I was and just how heavy I was, you know, that I have turned around just from being on this diet. So, you know, it has really improved my quality of life. And I just hope that if you're on the fence about trying keto, that you'll give it a try. Do your research. That's my number one thing. Do your research. Find out what you can eat on the diet. Like, take a look at what you're currently eating in your life right now, and then find substitutes for those things. There are plenty of substitutes out there to make your keto, you know, transition easier. Follow people that that inspire you to make these choices, because you know, sometimes it can be a little bit lonely when you're the only one in your family trying to make the best choice for yourself. And everybody else is sitting around eating rice and pasta when you really want to be enjoying that rice and pasta and the bread. But, you know, you have to make the best choice for yourself. You have to keep yourself disciplined. And this is really with anything in life. If you want to accomplish something, you have to go after it. It doesn't matter if it's keto, if it's a business, if it's another diet, if it's, you know, whatever you're trying to do to move ahead in life, you have to go after it. You can't just expect to sit there and it fall into your lap and happen for you. So I just really hope that you will give it a try. I hope that my videos, what I've already posted and what's going to come down the line, are encouraging. And if there are any requests that you might have of recipes or questions, or, you know, future videos that you would like me to make, I would be more than happy to address those. I have said this in a future video. I am one in a family of 5. I have 3 children and my husband. And like I said, I am the only one doing the keto diet. So it can be tough, and we have to encourage each other out here to keep going and just to keep making those good choices, because the payoff is what's really going to matter. How you feel about yourself is what's really going to matter, and the confidence that you're going to gain by losing weight and transforming your life is what's going to matter more than those couple of minutes that you might feel of, oh, I missed out. But you really didn't. You really didn't miss out, because the food we get to eat is so great. It's so rich. It's so indulgent. And it's just tasty. And that's why I can sustain this lifestyle. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you would subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you all have a blessed day.